Ready. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Welcome to the May 7, 2018 meeting of the Shawnee Planning Commission. We'll start with roll call. Commissioner Montgomery is absent. Commissioner Roth?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson?
Here.
Commissioner Willoughby?
Here.
Commissioner Beanhoff?
Here.
Commissioner Busby is here. Commissioner Wise?
Here.
Commissioner Braley?
Here.
Commissioner Les Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Mudgett is absent. Commissioner John Smith. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda are listed under the consent items agenda. Unless there's a request to remove one of these items from the consent agenda, the item will be approved in one motion. Is there a request to remove any items from the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner John Smith?
I'd like to remove item 2, FP 061805.
Very fine. Is there a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda? Commissioner Peterson?
I second that.
Now, but we need you to make the motion.
Oh, I have to make the motion. I make a motion that we.
Is there a second? Commissioner Willoughby?
I've seconded.
Motion is second to approve the consent agenda per staff recommendations with the exception of item number 2. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Since that one has been pulled from the consent agenda, item number 2 is FP 061805. And John, you had a question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and who can address this, either the applicant or staff.
Is the applicant present?
See the applicant here.
Applicant is not present. I guess you'll direct it towards staff.
Okay. I drive 47th Street nearly daily, and I've noticed that initially the grading was done, survey stakes were in place, and it looked like the street was going to be made or paved. Then suddenly there was a change. A pile of dirt was moved from the bottom to the top of the hill, and a big basin at the bottom of the hill. Does the plan that's there, that's submitted now, comply with the work that's been done and the change that's been appears to be been made?
I'm not completely familiar with the changes you saw going on out there. Mark Zilsdorf, City Planning Staff. The applicant had come in with a complete plan for this phase that is being approved tonight, plus a 9th plat that was recently approved just a couple months ago. They had done some initial work to install sanitary sewers out there, and I think that's probably what you saw. A lot of the digging and some of the grading that was going on was the installation of the sanitary sewers. And then I think their initial plan was to do it in 2 phases. Then I think when they got some of the contracts back, they realized that as far as streets and that kind of thing goes, it was going to be more economical to do it in one phase. So they're coming in now with the 10th plat in hopes of starting construction on the 9th and falling right into the 10th.
Initially, as I recall during the public hearing, an individual who farmed that land below that came in with concern about the amount of water that was going to flow onto his ground. And it
Right.
appears now that there may be a settling basin or some type of basin at the bottom at the.
Well,
where
there
the dirt
is,
has
there
come from.
is a detention basin that is actually contained within the 9th plat that is part of this. So there is a detention basin down on the east side, as well as, I believe there's a drainage swell that runs down along the back of those lots in the 9th plat. But yeah, all that was engineered out and approved and accepted with the permits with the 9th plat.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, what I'm seeking is some assurance that what we're being asked to consider tonight complies with the Corps of Engineering, the Department of Health, and so forth
Yes.
for the drainage
Yes.
of that. because-
Between the plat that is being approved tonight and the public improvement plans that will be reviewed and issued before construction, those will be in compliance with what was approved originally.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Does any of the other commissioners have a question for staff on this matter? Commissioner Beanhoff?
Yes, I guess my question to staff is it typical for us to approve an item like this without the applicant present?
Generally, they are here. I don't know what to say. We have approved them in the past. We've also tabled them for not being here. So that would be up to the commission to decide if that's what they want to do.
Is the staff comfortable with proceeding with approval without the applicant present?
I believe staff would be comfortable with that. I mean, it's a fairly straightforward plat. We've done all the construction plans are being reviewed by our development engineers. I would be comfortable with going ahead without the applicant here.
And the applicant has assured you that they are in agreement with the requirements? Thank you.
I guess the other question is the commission comfortable with
Mr.
making
Chairman,
a motion on this or tabling it so that and I think as much as you think, John, if you're satisfied with the answers you got, then I'm not sure we need to have the applicant present. Commissioner Les Allen? Les?
Les Allen,
I just,
called a
yeah.
lot of things, but never that.
Commissioner Les Smith, my apologies to you,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Mr. Chairman, and I was about to agree with you, but I understand the applicant not being here, whether he agrees with the conditions or not. Once we approve it, those are the conditions. Staff has done their due diligence. It's on the consent agenda. I see no reason in the world to hold them up. Time is money in this business.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner John Smith?
I'm satisfied with staff's response that this has been reviewed and I understand what's going on here. Thank you.
At this point in time, would someone care to make a motion on the matter?
Be happy to.
Commissioner Les Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move we approve FP 061805, final plat approval for Hillcrest Farm, 10th plat, 4700 block of Mund Road, subject to staff conditions.
Is there a second? Commissioner Braley?
Second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve FP 061805, final plat approval for Hillcrest Farm, 10th plat, located at 4700 block of Mund Road. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is new business, and since there is no other new business, we're to other business. That's right above monkey business. Paul?
Paul Chaffee, Director of Community Development. Just a couple items real quick to let you know some activities that we'll be doing this summer as part of our work plan. One of the items is we're proposing to take a look at the R1 overlay district that we currently have just specifically in the downtown area and expanding it a little bit to some of the neighborhoods to the north and to the west, up along Monrovia, out to Rose Hill, north of Johnson Drive, and up along East and Neiman Road. There are some areas up there where there are some homes that are built on the larger lots, but they're not the 150 feet wide, but a house is on one end of the lot and not on the other. And what we've allowed in the R1 district is to consider a rezoning and allow a smaller lot than 75 feet in size for R1. So we've had a little bit of interest down here, and every time we get somebody involved, someone else comes in and sweeps in and takes the property. But I think it's a good way for some infill development on some of these larger lots to go ahead and occur. So we'll be bringing you a proposal on that part. And then also we'll be beginning our review of the comp plan west of K7 Highway. Take a look at, do we want to change the land uses themselves? Do we just want to change some verbiage? So I think staff will plan some little activities for all of you to participate in and to think about as we proceed forward on the west side of K7. Since the last time we really redid that area, oh gosh, probably 10, 12 years ago, where we thought the sewers would end isn't where the sewers are going to end. And I think that over the past 5 or 6 years, we've taken a look at how we can provide more efficient service to residents as the land east of K7 gets developed. There's not a lot of ground on this side that's really left that's the good land to go in and do. So we'll take a look at that and get you some information ahead of time and sort of let you know what we're looking at doing, at least to get some initial thoughts and get you all to work together. And rather than being one of these deals where staff just comes and said, this is what it should be, we just want to get some more input, because I know we have a pretty diverse group that wants to take a look at different types of development, certainly more open to mixed use, more open to some density, more open to providing open spaces. We'll get into some discussions about the third of the mile goal of a city park or a school playground or some sort of recreation activity. So we'll have those maps there so you can kind of take a look, brief you a little bit on the Parks Department plans for our next park out west, and take a look at bike trails and just the whole gamut of everything that's in the comp plan. So those are a couple things we'll be doing this summer.
Thank you, Paul. Does the commission have any questions for staff? Well, we're down to that time, aren't we?
I move for adjournment.
Commissioner Willoughby.
I move for adjournment.
Thank you, Commissioner Willoughby. Commissioner Roth?
Second.
The motion is second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We're done. Thank you.
If you wouldn't have been comfortable with that, I wouldn't have done that, but since you're okay with it.
Yeah. What trip then? Should we really push?
So I gotta go before I
to be here? It's just something I
But no.
observed.
What?
I mean.
I think so. I think so, but I'm excited.
We